Hello and good evening, everyone. My name is Trynette Lariba, and I am the founder of Curvy Fit Chicks. Curvy Fit Chicks is an organization that is all about empowering, educating, and uplifting the active curvy woman in her quest to live out a life that is holistically fit, well, and whole. And we do that by providing tips, tools, and techniques to help her along her way so that she'll learn how to manifest what she wants to do in life, be her best self. So, thank you so much for joining me this evening. I am actually here to answer the question of a fellow Curvy Fit Chick member in the group. And actually, when I started writing out the answer to the question or some of the suggestions, it turned out to be quite lengthy. And so I decided just to go ahead and do a video, and that I should probably do a two-part video instead of trying to put everything into one. So she was saying that, this year she really wants to get on track, and that she is looking for suggestions or any help on how she can get back on track with her health and fitness journey. So no problem. The Curvy Fit Lifestylist is here. So, so the first thing that I want to say before we get into any other, just fitness tips, is that you want to make sure that you are starting yourself off on a clean slate, because you don't want to bring any baggage into your decision making, right? So you've made this decision and you don't want anything to cause any issues. So one of the first things that I would recommend for you to do is to forgive yourself. Yes, that is my first tip, is that you forgive yourself. And the reason why I say that is because, good evening, because when you have not fully forgiven yourself, you haven't given yourself permission to accept what has transpired and to deal with whatever the reasons were for that thing and to move on. Okay. So, so the first thing, like I said, you want to do is forgive yourself. All right. One of the things that we do a lot, especially as women, but just people in general, is we do a lot of, we're our worst critics. And we do a lot of negative self-talk in our head, and there's a lot of condemnation that we put upon ourselves. Some of us are dealing with the guilt and shame of maybe how large we've gotten. I know for me, when I first had my setback in 2015, I was just utterly disgusted at how lax and how far and I had letting myself go. And so it was frustrating, and I really was I just was in disbelief. And then I was feeling overwhelmed at how much I would need to do to even go forward, right? But that is what we have to do. And so in order to move forward, I really had to really forgive myself for what I had allowed, and for not putting a stop to it earlier. But you know what? I don't have control over what I did in the past has happened. So I had to forgive myself so that I can move forward. Okay, because if you're not able to move forward, then you're going to come across this again. So one of the things you have to do is you have to admit that you made a mistake, and that no one is perfect, right? So understanding that this is something that many other people have done, and we've done in other areas of our lives, but that the good thing is that we have admitted the mistake and are ready to own up to it. The next thing that you want to do is go ahead and repent. So that is, write it down, write it in your journal, say it aloud, say it in front of a mirror. Don't just think it, okay? Thinking is a powerful thing. Yes, it is, but speaking it aloud puts it out into the universe. It puts it out into the world, and it's powerful once you put it out there. And you need to hear it. You really need to hear those words yourself, not just write them down, not just think them. You need to say them aloud to yourself in the mirror and repeat it maybe 10 times until you really feel it, right? Because guilt can be something that really weighs heavily upon us and can really play over and over again. So we want to kill that. And we want to do that by admitting the mistake, understanding that we're not the only ones who have done that, and that this mistake does not define us. Yes, it was a terrible mistake, but we're ready to move forward. And we're deciding that we're getting back on track. Okay. So the next thing that I would recommend is that it follows right after the forgiveness is acceptance, right? So you want to accept what has happened. So you don't want to be living in a la la land, making up some other things. You want to accept it. It is what it is. If you've gotten up to a size, 32, you've gotten up to a size 32. There's no need to be dwelling in the past when it used to be a size 12. Okay, that's not where we are right now. Well, we've forgiven ourselves. We accept what has happened. Okay, we accept that that we were not at our best. We accept the choices that we made, and so what that means is that now we're going to be accountable for what we allow to happen in our life. So we're going to be responsible for it. We're going to own up to it. And so to move forward from there, so we've forgiven ourselves, we've accepted where we are and what has happened. Now we're accountable for the things that transpired in our lives that we allowed to cause us to put our health on the back burner, for us to be second in our own lives, sometimes even third or fourth. And I have been guilty of that, and that is what caused my downfall in 2015, with all the best intentions, right? Working hard, working multiple jobs, trying to acquire wealth, which that's a whole nother conversation. That is not the way to do it. Trying to, be a good mom, good daughter, friend, and just all around great person. And I was doing it all the wrong way. And I felt that the more I was giving of myself, while not taking care of myself, but just giving, that was what was right. And I was completely drained, running on the negative, but I still was giving and not seeing myself as important enough to be the best, give the best to myself, so that now that I could give the best to others. So I want you to be accountable for what it is that you did. Talk about it, write it out, but you have to do that. You have to be accountable, because things come into our lives and we are always left with a choice. So the decision is always with us on what to do. We may not control the circumstance, but we're in control of how we react to it and what we do next, okay, with what we're presenting. So you're going to go through all of that, okay? So that is the second thing that I would say for you to do. And so the next thing after you have done that is, now you want to get into the real reason why you have been coming up with 50 million excuses, right? Because you don't need me to tell you that taking care of yourself should be first and foremost. You didn't really need me to come and tell you that you should be a priority, right? These are things that you know. However, these are things that you have not been doing, or have been lackluster about, or have been saying that, you're going to do it, you're going to do it, and yet you have not stepped up to the plate to do it, right? So what is really causing you to come up with this excuse? So I want you to write out some of these excuses, and I want you to be brutally honest. I'm not looking at this sheet. I need you to be brutally honest with yourself. What is the cause of this excuse? Has there been some fear, that you have not addressed? Is there some self-doubt? Are you afraid of the discomfort? Like what's really causing you to have all of this? Is it that, do you think that you'll have to, spend more money? Is it a financial thing? What is causing these excuses to really come forth? So I want you to dig deep and kind of ask yourself what it is and why. So I want you to write out all the excuses you can ever think of as to why you're not currently staying fit, getting fit, maintaining your fitness, maintaining your health. I want you to tackle those things, right? Write them all out. And then I want you to also, underneath each one, I want you to write at least two things that would counter those excuses, right? So two things that are going to kill them ASAP. So I'll give you an example. So let's say your excuse, so I'll start with my excuse, was that I had too many things to do. I had too many things to do. I needed to, work. I had worked my multiple jobs. I had to go to different organization meetings. I needed to be involved in the church. I needed to make sure that I helped my daughter with her homework. I was there to provide her emotional, support her emotionally, financially, physically be there for her. I needed to be the best sister and daughter, and that, they needed me and needed me to be there. This was an excuse, okay? Now that I think about it, but it's an excuse. So, so what would be something to counter that, right? So one of the things that would counter that is that I am not the only person in the world that can do things. And so it is completely okay for either A, me to delegate things to someone else, or B, for me to say no, right? Just say no. It's fine. Like, that's completely okay. And that there is someone who is also gifted enough that will be able to handle it. So another one that I wrote down too is that for the working all the time, right? So when I was on track, I used to work out at 4 a.m. Yes, 4 a.m. workouts. So, so when you really want it, you're going to figure out a way to do it. So that's an option. You might want to start your workouts at the beginning of the day, before everybody wakes up, before the kids wake up, before you have to go in. You may have to also do your workouts in intervals. So that may be, maybe you can only do part of the workout, maybe 20 minutes of your break time you commit to your workout, right? And the other 10 minutes you're eating. And then you may do the other 30 minutes after you get off work. And so also you may have to do something where you work out on weekends and only one day during the week. So even if you're working all the time, you should be able to carve out time just for you. You should be using your me time as the I'm going to get healthy and fit time. All right. And you also want to create, make sure that you're creating routines that are conducive to your new lifestyle. So if you're saying that you're going to work out after work, what you want to do is have your routine now packed. If you have to go pick up the kids and then drop them off and then go work out, you want to make sure that bring your change of clothes to work. Bring your change of clothes. You already have your bottled water. You already have your towel. You have your gym bag already packed out. You're changed and you're ready to go. Okay, and you're going to make sure that you drive only to the places that you need to, and that you stick to the schedule. All right. So you need to be get regimented and organized so that you can get your fitness in. Another thing that you want to do to make sure that you are staying on track and not having to reduce your excuses to non-existent. Also, you may need to get a partner, right? You may want to join our group. So we have a group here online, Curvy Fit Chicks group. It is as it will work as much as you work it. You may also want to find someone that is in your local area that will be able to work out with you. Even if they're not able to work out with you, perhaps they can call and check up on you. Maybe you all agree to meet up once a month, or be on the phone once a week, just to check in and go over what went right and how to make improvements to your schedule. You may also need to get a personal trainer, right? So some people need to add some financial accountability to what they're doing. Also, you may need to get some apps on your phone as reminders until you are disciplined and able to do it, like rote memory. So there are many different apps that you can use. I have shared them on this page, so you can just go to the search bar and put in apps, and they will pop up for you. I have also shared last week some tips on staying hydrated, so you may want to go back and watch that video. If also water health is something that you're trying to make sure that you're tracking as well. But you may, like I said, you may need some trackers. You may need some reminders on your phone. You may need to put different lists in your journal. If you have a journal, make sure that you're tracking what you're doing so that you are staying on track. So I'm going to cut it right here. These are these are part one of the tips for getting back on track to reclaim your health, right? So we know our, oh goodness, I forget her name already. I forgot her name. You all know who I'm talking about, who says reclaim your time. But we are reclaiming bodies, and we are reclaiming health, and we are reclaiming the fitness, okay? We are reclaiming it. So you're going to first forgive yourself. You're going to secondly accept what you have done, accept the situation, and be accountable for how you have participated in it and how you're going to make changes. And the third thing you're going to do is kill the noise. Eliminate the excuses. That's what you're going to do. So this has been part one. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're watching on the replay, please do hashtag replay viewer or just replay. I'll still say hello to you. I thank you for your time, because I know it could have been spent elsewhere, because time is finite. Also be on the lookout, because we'll be having different activities and challenges all throughout the year. If you're not on our email list, please do go click to the button on our page and register, because that's where all the goodies and specials and discounts and updates are shared first. So we thank you so much. Remember, as always, I am Trynette Lariba, your Curvy Fit lifestylist, and I'm encouraging you to stay curvy, girl, fit, well, and whole. Until next time, ciao for now.